We were pretty famous back in high school. Trust us!
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast?
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous.
Hello and welcome to High School Famous, the podcast where we'll probably talk about high school, but hopefully we will not. I am Matt.
I'm Sean.
Yay! So Sean, we're doing something a little differently now. Currently at this point, anything that anybody has listened to has been stuff that was pre-recorded back in October, November, and December of 2020.
Correct.
And what's kind of not been great about that for us is it's really hard for us to speak to any of the listeners currently with what's kind of been currently going on and just being up to date in general of everything. So that's been, for me personally, I think that's been kind of annoying or difficult.
Well, yeah, one thing is we recorded a chunk of episodes before we had anything set up, like the email address and the social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So we weren't verbally asking our listeners to visit us on those things, like us, support us, anything like that. So now by doing this, well, you can finish explaining what we're going to do.
Yeah, so currently we're recording this on Sunday, the 21st of February. This episode is going to be released on the 23rd, Tuesday the 23rd. This will be the first up-to-date episode. And then from there, we still have 5 additional pre-recorded episodes that we will continue to release on the next 5 Thursdays until those are all eaten up. And then from there on, it'll be 1 per week, every Tuesday going forward. And so basically every Tuesday episode from here on should be up to date, unless for some reason we can't record on a certain week and it'll throw everything off. But in theory, that's what we're trying to do now. In doing that now, what's nice is hopefully people can start giving us some feedback, and the feedback will be more prudent to what's actually being put out there, and we can actually start to respond to it now.
I suppose one thing that is nice of the fact that we have not received any feedback yet, just because.
Yeah, I've received some little verbal feedback of just, somebody said that they really did enjoy the bad news, and they hope that we keep doing that. And I was like, yeah. Starting on that 4th episode, we started doing that, and we've done it on nearly every episode since, missing just the episode that just previously released on Thursday was the first episode and only episode at this point that does not contain bad news.
Right. And if you listen to that episode, you know why it did not include the bad news.
Yeah. Yep. It's been widely explained throughout that. Yeah. But yeah, I think this will just be nice. We're hoping that anybody listening now can start, sending us some feedback, either, via the Twitter, the Instagram, or our Gmail account. All of that information is always posted, obviously, on the actually episode that's as it's released, and it's also out there on all of our social media. And at the end of every episode, obviously, we also have that plug. So yeah, we really want to hear people's feedback. We want to know what you guys think works, what doesn't work. If there's anything you hate, if you hate us, just then don't talk to us. But thanks for listening. I guess that'd be weird if you don't like us. Why are you still listening to us at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
I gave them 10. I give them 10 episodes, and if they won me over by then,
the people that don't like us want to hear us
fail.
Provide information so that they could use against us. Hopefully.
Oh, gotcha.
Maybe they're trying to do that.
Sure, they could.
Yeah, so I mean, we've done a couple episodes with games. We've done a couple episodes with guests. Only one has posted so far, but
we have two more guest episodes in the bank that will be listened to shortly, hopefully.
Yeah. So obviously, we'll want to hear what you guys think and what you guys like or dislike, and we can kind of try to cater the podcast to what people like to hear.
Right. So those of you who have continued to listen to us at this point, thank you very, very much. We appreciate you guys so much. And, hopefully we can gain some more followers or listeners or whatever you want to call yourselves. We'll call you our alumni. or the
that's good.
faculty. But yeah, I mean, we want to hear from you guys. If you like us and you think people might like us as well, share us out there. There's, we can only share ourselves so far, with the people we know and trying to plug it as much as we can plug it. But, a lot of it's going to come from people sharing and liking and commenting and, letting us know what we're doing that works and what we're doing that doesn't work. We want to improve and be better, and we want to hear from people and really see where this kind of goes. But yeah, other than that, I mean, so far, as we've been checking our analytics, things have been pretty good, and we've got listens in some really weird places that I wasn't expecting us to get any listens from.
Right.
It's not all just in the US. We got some other weird stuff going on throughout the world. But otherwise, I mean, our listener base has been pretty steady in Minnesota, for sure. Obviously, it's where we know most of the people that are listening to this. This is where we know people from. So,
the two biggest would be Minnesota and then Illinois, where you live.
Yep.
So not surprising at all.
No, but yeah, just some other random spatterings throughout the country, which has been kind of fun. And then some other countries throughout the United States, throughout the world. Which has been kind of surprising. So yeah, we want to hear from anybody. So if you're listening to this from another country, please contact us. We want to know how you heard from us, how, what you like, what you don't like from you too, because it's just really interesting to see who you are and what's going on that end of things. So yeah, I mean,
and oddly, we posted about this a couple days ago, but unexpectedly we were contacted by feedspot.com. And we were listed on their top 25 high school related podcasts to follow in 2021, which I'm not sure what that means or how significant that is, but it's pretty cool.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Like I've said,
what qualifies as being high school related?
Like I said to you, Sean, originally when I found out, like they've obviously have not listened to this at all.
Yeah, I mean,
because we're not high school based, other than the name, really.
I think our biggest qualifier is the title, and then possibly the bell sound that we put in at the beginning and the end of each episode.
Yeah,
that got us locked in right away.
Yep, they're like, oh, yep. Yeah. They're like, soon and they'll start talking about high school more.
Even more impressive, we're not even at the bottom of the list.
No,
I want to say we're like 13 out of 25. Yeah. So good for us.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that was. Really wondering what that was based on.
I don't know, but good for us. Good on us for sticking to our high school. For sticking to our high school related format and topics to keep us on that list. Hopefully we remain on the list. Hopefully we remain on the list throughout the year and even into 2022.
Ooh,
maybe we'll rise the ranks and go higher up on the list.
We could.
Who knows?
Yeah. So we need your support, listeners. Get us up on that. Get us higher on that list. I have a feeling that there's only in the entire world. There's probably only 25 high school related podcasts. That's why we made it.
Yes.
Last year's post was the top 24.
Yeah. They were really excited about this because they were able to expand their list size to like a nice 25 number. A nice round number, as they say, even though it doesn't end in 0. But I'm gonna be weekly attempting to rise us up on the list. I'm going to say things like lockers and textbooks.
There you go.
And principals and teachers and football games and stuff.
We're gonna have to make a very specific segment of each episode, about maybe 3 minutes long or something, that we dedicate to a very high school specific moment. And that's
we could make up. We could do fake like morning announcements.
Ooh,
that'd be fun to make up.
Look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Make that part of the do that just before bad news.
Right. Speaking of bad news,
segue.
Let's stop derailing and let's appeal to the potentially one person that has given you feedback saying they like bad news, and let's do bad news.
Bad news. Eventually, we'll make a jingle for this at some point.
Yeah, it's going to be a regular thing. We might as well have a fun little blip that goes in there. All right, so I'm not sure. Who wants to go first? I don't know.
Let's do this. I'll go.
You're gonna go.
I'll go. Yeah. So Sean.
Okay, so
what? No,
well, I'll stop you.
You're gonna stop me.
I'm gonna stop you. You'll notice though, this is kind of an interactive news for you this week.
Okay, I do see at the end of the first sentence it says pause for Sean's reply.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, Sean, you remember what I've always considered to be my greatest skill, right?
Scoring antiques.
Well, it came in handy recently. I was busy making my daily lunchbox when I heard a sinister hubbub outside my place. I couldn't check my security cameras. You remember what happened to those?
Yeah, they were confiscated after you installed them in the fitting rooms at Sears, right?
Right. So I suited up and I grabbed my most intimidating weapon.
Your plastic encased rocket arm laser hatchets?
Exactly. They were fully charged up. I peered out my front door window and saw two rival yard gangs playing a game of horseshoes, and all things were heated. That's right. My front door faces several public horseshoe pits. I saw that each gang, in place of stakes, was using the mothers of the opposing gang members buried up to their heads. Their heads were still alive, so I assumed their bodies were still alive too. But their faces were getting knocked around by horseshoes. You know why this pissed me off?
Yeah, they stole your game idea.
Yeah. I approached unnoticed by tunneling just above ground level. Then I sprang up, and I drew my weapon. They figured I was largely outnumbered and charged at me. So first I pulled open my suit to blind them with my reflective body pins.
So your skin.
Precisely. They all stumbled around while I blasted them and or swung at them with my gnarly weapon. Before long, both yard gangs fled and separated in separate but equal directions. I saved the day. The gang members' mothers thanked me with their excuse me. The gang members' mothers. I don't know why that's weird and hard to say.
It's a little bit of a.
The gang members' mothers thanked me with their living hands. Then I took them all home and thanked.
Heads.
Oh, it does say heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. With their living heads. We're gonna try this all one more time from the top.
Yeah, let's do it from the top
of this paragraph
of this sentence.
The gang members' mothers thanked me with their living heads. Then I took them all home and they thanked me with their living bodies. Senior G.
Yeah. Whoa.
So either that is that's either an old old person orgy or it's Spanish for Mr. Orgy.
That's both.
That's what they call me. That was my nickname in high school. Nickname?
Yeah, and that's why your greatest skill would be
something about
scoring antiques.
Scoring antiques. Oh, I see what you did there.
Yep.
Scoring as in marking.
I didn't think that when I wrote it, but when you read or when I said it to you during this, I'm like, oh, it could also be like you're
marking. I'm marking.
You're scratching into it. Yeah. To make it like when you score a tile, so you can break it in half, and
Yeah. But yeah, Senior G was definitely my nickname in Spanish class back in high school.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So Senior Orgy. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that in that way either. I just. So you were busy making your daily lunchbox.
Mm-hmm.
So you make yourself a new lunchbox every day to use for that day.
Yeah, because I make it out of cardboard, and I always eat soup, but I don't have a soup container, so I always have to pour the soup into the lunchbox. So by the end of the day, it's just really soggy.
Right. Yeah. So what happened with Sears? You installed all your security cameras in the Sears fitting rooms. You can't see it.
That was something you said.
That's one of my replies. That's why I reset it.
Okay.
That's why I reset it, because I'm like, he doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Right. So I mean, the fact that there was a hubbub going outside and that I couldn't check my security cameras, two unrelated things. Because my security cameras aren't outside my house; they were all inside the fitting rooms at Sears.
Right.
That was for loss prevention. Nothing more.
And this was your own self-imposed loss prevention.
Yeah, because I don't
service that you
work for Sears at all.
Yeah.
I've never worked for Sears. That was the one and only time I was ever in a Sears.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were confiscated. I heard that the employees were complaining that the resolution was too low.
Well, I mean, that's the way
that's why
I
they
like it.
that's why they took him down.
Yeah. No, I can only, it's 8-bit.
8-bit?
8-bit resolution. Makes everything look like video games.
I don't think video records that way.
Yes, and.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know if I should ask you about your plastic encased rocket arm laser hatchets, or should I?
They are what encased again?
They're plastic encased.
Oh yeah, they're encased in plastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a weak material that's easily breakable.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to keep them clean.
Okay.
That's
well, all right.
Yeah, not much there.
All right. So long. Good for you, Senor G. I'm glad you had a crazy adventure. Oh yeah, you were tunneling just above ground level.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that tunneling at all?
I installed like like in hamsters cages, you can put like those cool plastic like tunnel things around. I did that just outside my house, just straight across to the horseshoe pits. So I was technically tunneling because I was in a tunnel.
Is it a clear tunnel?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they saw me coming.
Okay. All right.
Even though I did say that I approached unnoticed.
Right. Well, they were too busy. They were too preoccupied with their.
Well, I mean, I unnoticed. I wasn't. I didn't notice myself.
Everyone saw you coming.
Yeah, but everybody but me saw that I was coming.
Well, yeah, you were probably covered up with your suit. You suited up.
Yeah.
Before you headed out there. Yeah. All right. Well, that was very cool. I'm glad that. I mean, so
yeah, I should do that more often.
The yard gangs are still, I'm sure, against each other. It's not like they.
Oh yeah, I didn't solve anything.
You didn't resolve the gang war.
No.
In fact, if they find out what you did at the end, they're probably all going to be after you as well. Like you made it worse for yourself. Actually,
let's be honest. They were doing worse stuff to those women's faces than I did. Time for Sean's bad news.
Time for my bad news. This looks like it's kind of long, so I'm going to read it now.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well, hey everyone, here's my news. My bad news, I think. When I was a young boy somewhere between the ages of 5 and 12, my parents took me and my biological siblings to a carnival. When I should have said my parents took my biological siblings and me to a carnival.
That's not
the
what
carnival
they did,
was called. Oh, they didn't do that? They took me and them?
Yep.
Okay. The carnival was called Big Larry's Carnival and Whitewater Rapids Adventure Park. The ticket booth was operated by an old greasy-haired man with long, dirty fingernails. He had this sinister smile creep across his face as he took our money and said, "I do hope you enjoy your stay with us here at Big Larry's." It was something about the way he said it with that sinister smile that made me feel comfortable and at ease. I like how we both used the word sinister in our news.
I used it a few times.
Yeah, so far.
I don't think this lasts.
We must have gotten there really early because there weren't any other patrons at the carnival. We had the place all to ourselves. I ran up to the first ride I saw, the Tilt-A-Whirl, and went to get on. My family followed and came to get on also. The man at the ride opened the gate and ushered us in. It was the same man from the ticket booth. This struck me as very strange, but none of my family seemed to pay any attention. I tried to shrug it off. Maybe I was mistaken and they just looked very similar. After the ride, we walked around a bit and found some games, ring toss, darts, shooting gallery, etc. As we walked through looking to choose a game, I noticed again that all of the booth operators were exactly the same greasy-haired man from the ticket booth, all looking almost straight through me. Again, my family didn't notice at all. I was really starting to panic. I clung tightly to my mother's arm. I felt like I was cutting off the circulation to her hand. After walking for what felt like 30 minutes, I turned to look back toward the games we had passed. About 25 feet behind us was 15 or so of these identical men following us, dead looks in their eyes, and that small, sinister smile stretched across their faces. I turned back to my mom and yelled, "Mom, I want to go. Those men are following us, and they are really creepy." I looked up, and it wasn't my mom, and it wasn't my family I was walking with. It was more of the same man. I let go and started to run. No matter how fast I ran, I didn't seem to be gaining any ground. Whenever I looked back, they were still at the same distance behind me. Finally, I rounded a corner and hid behind some dumpsters. I heard the shuffle of footsteps past me, and moments later it got very quiet. Then suddenly it got very loud. I could hear bells and dings and laughter and crying, what sounded like people everywhere enjoying themselves. I came out from behind the dumpster and the carnival was packed with people. I walked into the crowd and I saw my family enjoying some food. I went over to them and gave my mom a big hug. She said, "Get off me, you're gross." So I knew it was really her. We went on with our day, and it is to this day one of my fondest childhood memories.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you knew it was your mom as you highlight the line?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you could see. Yeah. Yeah, I knew it was her when she said, "Get off me, you're gross."
Right.
And the reason it's one of my fondest childhood memories is, this is a line she said to me often.
Right.
And so you probably wouldn't be surprised to learn that this was the first time that I hugged my mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's accompanied with this creepy sort of vibe at the beginning, but
right.
It ended in a very significant way for me.
That's good.
Yeah.
She's not wrong.
Right. I mean, I hope she was just saying that with the same message that she always did, and not calling me gross compared to these creepy men that I was seeing everywhere this time.
No,
that would be a little.
It was just in comparison to like your biological siblings.
My biological siblings, yeah. So this might suggest that I also have adopted siblings. If I felt the need to point out that they were my biological siblings that were with,
right,
and all the adopted siblings stayed home, or the foster siblings stayed home, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, up to you.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah,
so
I don't know.
Did you do any of the? Did you go on the rapids?
Well, it doesn't say I did, so no.
Oh.
It turns out I went to the ring toss, darts, and the shooting gallery, and before that I went on the tilt-a-whirl, and then I had some food.
No, I mean, it says you saw those games. You guys walked through the game area without actually stopping at any games.
You're right.
But what happened? I mean, you found your family, and then what? You just went home, or what'd you do after that?
Well, so this event, what is specifically mentioned here is the event that I have a fond memory of.
Oh, gotcha.
But I have no memory. I have no memory of what happened after this point.
Oh,
so I mean, we could have done things
just that day.
That day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have very thorough memories of every other time we visited this carnival, just not this one.
Just not that day.
Just not that day.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's odd because you think I would sort of have subconsciously suppressed the beginning part of the memory and kept everything else that occurred after that, the happy stuff, but I did the opposite. I suppressed what likely would have been a pleasant day following this story. For
some reason, your brain has been trained into letting go of fond memories and only holding on to deep, dark, terrible things that have happened to you.
Yeah.
Probably all stemming from the fact that your mom constantly told you to get off of her because you're gross.
Right. Yeah. She didn't tell me to do that. Well, that's right. I wasn't holding her hand. I was holding one of those dudes' hands. Mm. Yeah. None of them had name tags either. Had they had name tags and the names were all the same, it probably would have made a little more sense, or I would have figured it out a little sooner.
Yeah, I mean, they could have all been like identical, whatever you say, 15 or so. Identical. Yeah. They wouldn't be twins, but yeah.
I don't know what that would be called. Yeah. 15 tuplets or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that they didn't have name tags is what really threw me off.
Right.
I would have had the whole thing on lock if they had name tags.
Well, because too, then if you wanted to go to complain to their superior, you don't know which one to complain about.
Right. I mean, they were all creeping me out, so I guess I could just say everyone.
Right.
Yeah. But it turns out their manager was also him.
Oh. Yeah, that would have been awkward then.
Yeah. Kind of a moot point.
Right.
The tilt-a-whirl was fun though. I mean,
that's good.
I got a seat that spun really a lot during that ride. Sometimes you get a dud, but mine was really active. Yeah. So Big Larry's.
At least you got to remember that you enjoyed that part of it, considering that all the other stuff that happened after where you possibly enjoyed your day, you don't remember at all.
I don't. Yeah, I blocked it out.
Right.
Yeah. Kind of sad.
Yeah. You lead a sad life.
Yeah. That park is closed now.
Oh, is it?
But the carnival's still open.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Big Larry's Carnival is still there, but Whitewater Rapids.
Oh, just the Whitewater Rapids
Adventure Park.
That part of it's closed.
Yeah.
So now it's just Big Larry's Carnival, or is it still all named the same thing? Just
they kept the name.
Okay.
They were worried that removing that part of the name would draw in less people, so they kept it there.
So
But
instead,
it was
they just disappoint all their patrons.
Yeah. The water was getting too greasy, so they had to shut it down.
From the guys who were running it.
Yeah. But what's great, I mean, if you don't mind getting a little bit dirty, it really comes in handy if you get like if your back gets itchy and you can go up to any of the workers and they'll scratch your back really well with those long dirty fingernails if you want. So I think that's why
was that one of the booths?
There was more than one
booth.
There were multiple booths.
There were multiple back scratching booths.
Yeah.
There was one ring toss, one darts, one shooting gallery.
Yeah. From what I could tell,
etc. was just a bunch of back scratching booths.
The etc. here are back scratching booths.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this carnival, well, from what we can tell, has one tilt-a-whirl, one ring toss, an area to throw darts. Whether I don't know if there's anything to throw darts at, or if it's just this is your designated dart throwing area.
It's just a
shooting gallery
where you can just touch darts and look at darts.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't even say throwing.
It's a dart gallery. Oh.
It's ooh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, come to think of it, it's really odd that based on how lame this carnival sounds, that this is the part that's still open.
Right.
And the Whitewater Rapids Adventure Park, which sounds awesome, is what they closed down because of what probably could have easily been solved with some filters and some more chlorine and telling the employees to not put their greasy hair in the water.
Right.
Why don't they just... Yeah, I'm going to write a letter.
Please do.
I'm going to write a letter to Big Larry.
You should write a letter, and then before you send it, let's read it on next episode and let the listeners give you some feedback before you send it off.
Okay, so if I'm waiting for feedback, the letter's never going to get sent.
Hey, we've pleaded out now.
We did.
At least one person give Sean some feedback on his letter to Big Larry.
The funny thing, it's funny that you suggested that because I was way ahead of you. I was like, I'm actually going to write a letter to Big Larry.
Awesome, do it.
And use it.
I look forward to it.
So, yeah.
All right, bad news.
Right. Hey, bad news. All done. So far, hopefully, unlike the rest of the world, hopefully this is the end of our bad news for this week.
As in, like, you hope that the rest of this week only gives us good news and nice, good things happen to us.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Even though if it did, we wouldn't have bad news for the next week.
I know.
So more bad news.
Obviously, we're just telling people things from any part of our life. So even if nothing bad happens to us tomorrow, we both have very tragic histories and that we can continue to talk about.
Yeah, and what really helps for me in the purpose of delivering these bad news stories is the only memories I hang on to are the bad ones. So
yeah,
I should have a lot in the bank.
And apparently your mom does not love you.
Right. She could very well have been aware of this creepy situation and brought me there just to experience it. Maybe she was trying to be cruel to me by taking me to Big Larry's.
She was trying to get rid of you.
Yeah.
It's like...
She wanted me to
let him be somebody else's non-biological sibling.
She's like, I just need to get rid of this kid. His hair's kind of greasy. He's got long, dirty fingernails.
Right.
I think I'm going to take him to Big Larry's. And hopefully he just sort of gets lost in the mix of the employees and he ends up operating a back scratching booth.
There you go.
Yeah.
She was looking out for your future. She was trying to get you a career.
It's true. Yeah. Because she knew I wasn't cut out for college or high school or middle school. So I think she was trying to get me set up for a stable future in any way that she thought I would be able to handle.
Right. Instead of trying to help you prosper, she just wanted to, push you out and just like, he'll be good at that.
Yeah. She got tired of having to buy me food.
Yeah, no more trying to make him learn.
Yeah, for some reason, I'm okay with spending money on all my she was okay with spending money on all my biological siblings, but was really tired of the financial encumbrance I was putting on her.
For whatever reason, you were the financial burden being the middle child.
Yeah. Yeah.
The oldest was fine. Once the second was born, things got tough. And remained tough. Once the third kid was born, things got a little bit better. So they realized it's clearly the second one.
No, I think what it was. I think the situation was this: have the first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this isn't so bad. We can handle this. Have the second. Oh, this isn't so bad. We can handle this. Having the third. Oh man, we're in over our heads. This middle child's got to go.
Yeah,
that's there's no reasoning behind it other than
the oldest is a boy, the youngest is a girl. Just get rid of the second boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes sense.
Peasy. Yeah. All right.
It makes sense. All right. Moving on, Sean.
Moving on,
Sean. So you said you had a couple things you'd maybe want to bring up. If not,
I don't know.
We can.
I mean, all the set. I mean, I did a couple things that are sort of. I did some sort of human things that are from the old days.
That's so not like you.
Free days. There's not like any funny, real funny stories attached to them, but I did some things that are not common this day and age. I did. I went snowboarding.
Oh yeah,
once.
You went with Travis?
I went with Travis,
nice.
And then Ian was there, so I hung with the President Unicorn duo.
Yeah, and then that's another podcast people should check out, by the way.
There was another, yeah.
Hopefully they'll also plug us at some point.
Right. Well, I mean, once they're back up.
Yeah, once they're back up and running.
Yeah, I'm not going to be expecting any plug from them in the near future.
Yeah.
Until if they decide to get going again. But anyway, yeah, and then there's a third guy there who I never met before. It took me a little bit to get back into it. It had been, I would say, 15 years since I was snowboarding the last time. And so I used a rental. Obviously, I wasn't going to go out and just buy all the gear. But I did have to buy. This sucks. I found out, and when I was on the way there, you basically purchase like a rental package, and you say if you're going to be snowboarding or skiing, so like you can pick out whatever. But it comes with the boots, the board, and there was something else. But it doesn't come with goggles. So I had to, and of course they have goggles for sale there. So I had to dump $40 on a pair of snowboard goggles.
Yikes.
So that's. I mean, I'm sure they don't want. Especially in a time like this, maybe they don't want people swapping out goggles with each other and stuff.
They could just spray them down with that shoe stuff from the bowling alley.
Yeah, that would be great. Mm-hmm. That would. I'd want that like
near your eyes.
the vapor of that getting into my eyes as I'm going down a hill. At
they're not going to do it right before you put them on. They'll let them dry out.
Oh,
like spray them, put them immediately on.
Yeah, no, not gonna. Yeah, they wouldn't do that. But it was. The worst part actually was getting off of the lift because have you ever snowboarded?
I have never snowboarded.
So skiing is one thing because you hop on the lift and your skis are still both attached to your feet and everything's fine. Snowboarding, in order to move, once you're at the bottom of the hill, you remove one of your feet from the bindings and you just push yourself along. So when you get on the lift, your one foot is disconnected from the board and one foot is still connected to the board. And so you kind of hop off the lift chair when you get to the top, and there's just something about just stepping your other foot onto a random part of the board.
Right.
And you're not so confident that if you lean to turn that your foot that you use will slip. It might slip off the board.
Right.
And you'll just you could fall on your face and then be in the way of people behind. So the four of us did a lot of sort of like crashing into each other when we got off the lift chair each time. But yeah, I mean, I picked back up on it pretty quick. I only had a couple little spills. I didn't really get hurt. But there was a couple times where in the middle of going down the hill, I had to actually stop because my like calf muscles were getting so sore.
I suppose.
Like I was feeling the burn of it. I'm like, I have to stop and sit here for like 30 seconds and then pick it up again. But the most embarrassing moment was I tried and jumped and I did a 180, which I used to be able to do. So I did a frontside 180. But then not long after that, I just messed up a little turn and I fell forward and smacked my face on the ground. And like the back of my hand got a real sore spot. So but they saw me do the 180 and they were impressed. And then I missed a turn and I just fell on my face. So other than that, it was pretty successful.
Nice.
The other things I've done recently, I went to a movie theater.
Oh.
And I did that twice. I took my son to a couple movies at the movie theater. Luckily, I strategically did it on like a Thursday.
Such an old-timey sentence.
I know.
Went down to the movie theater.
I went to the pictures, the cinema.
Yeah, see?
But, yeah. But I specifically did it on like a Wednesday or a Thursday night.
Right,
when there's less of a chance of it being busy. And then, what else to do? I took him bowling. So I went to a bowling alley.
Wow.
And here's the messed up part with the bowling alley. Bowling alleys typically have your lower area with all the lanes where you're supposed to have your bowling shoes on, and that's where. And then up above would be the counter where you will pick up or drop off your shoes and pay for your lanes. And then that's also where there might be a bar or a restaurant attached where there's like staff walking around, like maybe the servers are going to and from. The rule of I'm sure this is common or similar with all bowling alleys that are open right now, but you have to wear your mask when you come in, and you have to wear it when you're up on the upper level interacting with staff and stuff. But once you get down to the actual bowling alley itself, and they have every other lane booked, so that you have a full lane of space in between you, you're allowed to remove your mask.
Okay.
And the whole part of it that doesn't make sense is that is where everybody is.
Right.
Like, you look up to where the staff are, there's like maybe 3 people strolling around, and then you have this huge gathering of people down at the bowling alley, and that's where it's okay to take your mask off. So, and I even heard some woman explain it to her daughter, like, well, you can take it off down here, but if you go up there where the employees are, you have to take your mask off. And I'm looking around, I'm like, there's nobody up there. There's probably 50 people down here. So yes, the rules of the establishment say this, but what makes sense logically here?
Right, exactly.
But anyway, so people will just find any way to be able to take their mask off, whether it makes actual sense or not. But I think that's it as far as regular old timey human activities that I took part in.
Nice.
Since we last recorded.
I have not. Other than the only stuff I do other than go to work and go to the grocery store, that's about it as far as anything outside of the house. So I have no exciting things happened to me last week, other than when I told you about my ceiling fan randomly falling off of my ceiling onto my bed. Luckily, it was while I was in the living room. But that was really weird, just hearing a crash and then looking and seeing my ceiling fan teetering on the edge of the bed.
So
that's not good.
So these are going to be held up by both hardware, like screws, and also the wiring to do a little bit of holding up something like that. So did everything just completely come off?
So there was an initial noise of like a chink. So that was it falling to the point where the wires grabbed, and then things kind of shifted, and like I think the cords and stuff like banged against the glass fixtures that are around the bulb, and then there was a second noise of it falling to the actual bed. So basically, the hardware loosened, the wires caught, and then the wires loosened, and it fell all the way after that. And then so I called, or I immediately shot a message to the maintenance guy, and he came over. I think that was on a Thursday, and then he came over Saturday. He said, "Is Saturday fine?" I'm like, "Totally fine. It's winter time, so I'm not worried about a fan right now."
Yeah.
So he came over Saturday and he looked at it, and basically what was holding it up was just this really short threaded piece of like material. So basically, like there's a bracket. This threaded piece goes through the bracket, and then there was like a nut on it, but it was probably only about like 2 or 3 threads that were exposed over that bracket, and that's what was holding the fan up.
Whoa!
So he looked at it. He went and got some stuff, came back, and then he built it up a lot longer and bigger, and attached it really well to that, and then even took the bracket that then the fan screws to or hooks into this bracket. Took that bracket and he actually screwed that into the studs of the ceiling. So now the thing, now it's going to actually be, if they want to replace it, it's going to be a pain in the ass to actually take it down now. So that was like the only excitement I really had around here recently. And then and then we just got dumped the last couple of weeks. We've just been getting dumped on with snow. So that's been fun.
I mean, so I used to work at a job I used to work at a home shopping channel that would sell, whatever various type of products, but one of them would be the occasional ceiling fan in like a home goods type of a show. And I remember always it was always some sort of almost like a ball joint type of a holder that would hold the fan up. So this sounds like it's not that.
No, this has that.
Fan.
So there's that bracket that the fan sits in, because the fan needs to be able to shimmy and sway a little bit. And sometimes fans get put on like angled ceilings too, so they need to be able to adjust the level. So it's got that, and that's the bracket that he now screwed to the ceiling, and then the fan lopped up into that. But before that, it was like this other part that was that piece that holds up. What that was being held up with was just those little threads. and then the fan was inside that. And then, the surprising thing is he said that fan's been up there for like 10 years, and he's surprised it hasn't fallen sooner. And he thinks the previous tenant was fucking with it. So, because apparently there was a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff. Apparently the previous tenant would he was like replacing a light socket, and then all of a sudden their power kept like shorting. So then the maintenance guy had to come in, and he had to replace it properly, and he added something else, and then other things were going wrong. All of a sudden the furnace stopped working, and then found out he was dicking around with that too. So.
Oh geez.
Yeah, bunch of fun shit.
So it sounds like you have some interesting neighborhood stories that you want to go through.
I do, yeah. Right? So speaking of all this snow we've gotten here in Chicago,
So before you start,
yep.
No, this is really short. I logged into my app for the first time in a long time to see if I could find anything interesting as well. And not really. I mean, there used to be goofy ones that would pop up a long time ago, but the only thing I could find that I found worth maybe noting down was someone, this is obviously I figured out it was a joke little ad, but it said free raccoon. Anyone interested in a free raccoon is welcome to have the one living under our deck. Nice and plump and seems to like talk radio.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, go on with your
so I'll try to make these pretty quick. So I got a couple stories here that have to do with the weather, and then one story that is not, but it's ridiculous.
Okay.
So out here in Chicago, there's this unwritten yet still illegal thing that happens called dibs.
Chicago. Oh.
So basically, if you shovel out a parking spot, you can claim dibs on that parking spot by putting random crap in that spot when you leave. So people leave chairs or buckets or tables or trash, whatever. They just leave it in that spot. Now they have called dibs on that spot. It's technically not legal to do, but it's kind of this thing of if somebody claims it, leave it, because if you steal their spot, they're probably going to fuck your car up.
It's sort of an unspoken agreement that's understood.
But there's also a lot of people that go around and say, screw that, and just take people's stuff and just toss it places. Or you can call the city, and there'll be trucks driving around that just go around, collect that shit, throw it in the back of their truck, and drive off.
That behavior perfectly legal.
Stealing, taking people's stuff and throwing it in the back of a truck.
Not that, but just moving their stuff out of the way and parking in that parking spot.
Yeah,
that's
technically you're not in the wrong for doing that. But it's frowned upon, and somebody will probably key your car. So I got a couple little stories here. So this one is called Chair. Whoever stole my chair that was in a spot I took hours to shovel and someone stole, can I at least have my chair back? No need to be rude ×2. I just thought that was
You think it's a nice chair? It's like a lawn chair.
I have no idea.
I put my lazy boy out there.
So a couple comments were, not sure where in Ravenswood you are, but earlier today I was out and saw a pickup truck driving around pulling dibs items off the street and throwing them into the bed of the truck. Somebody commented on that saying, doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
And then placing dibs items is illegal. Tickets are rarely written. So I just thought that was kind of funny, of being rude ×2. They would just want their chair back. They don't even want their spot back. Just want their chair back.
I would put a family of ducks in the parking spot.
Like live ducks?
Yes. No one's going to hit those.
Well, here you go then. Then this next one is right up your alley.
Oh.
This is called Raise Your Dibs to the Next Level with Human Dibs. Now, I want this. We're not sponsored. We're not sponsored by Human Dibs, but I want to be sponsored by Human Dibs. And this is Human Dibs ad as our first sponsor ever on this episode.
Okay.
All right. So here I'm going to try to do it my best ad voice.
Commercial
here.
Voice. Yeah.
Tired of shoveling out that spot only to have that one neighbor with a Chevy Land Whale take it? Tired of using your family heirlooms to declare dibs on a spot only for a stranger to steal the spot and leave you with a thank you note? Use Human Dibs. For just $60 an hour, I will wait outside in your shoveled spot for you. Unlike inanimate objects, moving me or running over me with a car is considered kidnapping or murder. So your spot is secured. Is this a joke or serious? I don't know. If you're willing to pay me, let's find out.
So they're trying to offer this
Human Dibs
for what is likely to be way more than anybody's going to earn in a work day.
Oh yeah,
like let's say this is for Yeah, $60 an hour to stand in between two cars? Or if other cars drive away, I'll be in between nothing.
Somebody commented on it later down, says, I'll do it for $59.
Yeah. Matt, you got to offer less.
I'll undercut. I'll do it for $40.
Yeah, I'm surprised this didn't result in like a sort of a bidding war for the job, you know? Who could quote the lowest price?
So human dibs.
That's way better than what I thought was going to be. Like, that's awesome. $60 an hour. I mean, even if you're leaving for an hour to run to like the store, get groceries or something. Let's say you're planning on spending $200 at the grocery store. Mm-hmm. You're now going to have to budget in an additional $60 just to keep your parking spot safe. Right. Wow. I wonder if he's got any calls.
Which, to be honest, depending on where you live in the city, there's some parking structures downtown that's not far off.
Really?
There are some crazy. Well, that's kind of crazy, but like, there's a shopping mall downtown that we went to a few months back, and I think we were in there for a little over an hour, and I think it was $30-something to park there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Parking downtown's insane.
When I had my contracted parking lot that I paid for in downtown Minneapolis, it was like $150 per month to park there, and even the daily rate is like $8 if you show up before like 8 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
$30 for an hour.
Roughly, yeah.
That's madness.
And what sucked is that we were like, we could park on the street. I'm like, oh, well, this place has a parking lot. We'll go in there. And then, so we turned, and you have to go down this ramp because you go under the building. Yeah. And as soon as we got down there, that's where you saw the pay rates. And I was like, crap. And I looked, and there was a car coming behind me. I'm like, well, we're stuck now.
You're stuck. Was there any signage outside?
No.
Where you could have been alerted to this?
Not that I saw. I didn't see anything stating how much it cost outside. So that was a bummer.
That's shady if that's the case. Oh, gosh.
So moving away from the dibs-related news, this next story, I'm gonna start off by saying this story is strange, and that's why I'm bringing it up. I do not condone this man in any way. I think what he is doing is messed up, and he needs to be stopped. However, this story is so weird that it has to be mentioned.
Okay.
So, and there's two different posts about this guy. So the first one's called Crazy Rollerblade Guy on the Street. This guy has been skating down Winnemac and Damon and hanging around Winnemac Park for months, often carrying a long stick. A couple of days ago, he was skating opposite the traffic direction, so I had to swerve around him. Then coming home, he did the same in the opposite direction and cut in front of me. So that's what the guy posted, and here are some comments on it.
All right.
Exercise extreme caution around him. This past week, he was aggressive in the park towards 2 women and 3 small children. Followed the ladies/children out of the park and for a few blocks. Stating to the women he was going to kill them and kill or kidnap the children. Police were called, not sure of the outcome from the police.
Whoa.
Next person says, oh my God, this is the same person. Exact description of a man that accosted a friend of mine on her walk and then chased her. She actually did call the cops, but apparently he either eluded them or they were not able to discourage him. It sounds like he's getting even more bold. Then somebody said, don't think he'll be doing a lot of skating today because there had been some snow. And then somebody said, I saw him skating on Sunday on Clark. And it says, he chased my friend through the grass, so snow won't stop him, as verified by the posts here. Sorry, that one's kind of funny.
Yeah.
He's on rollerblades, just chasing people through grass. So this first post is not the next post. The next post is where it gets a little bit more funny. This is just kind of setting up what this guy's like. So somebody says, African-American guy, I think he had dreads. About a month back, he skated into a tree by the parking lot, acting erratic. The rollerblades on his feet should have been a dead giveaway. Ironically, he is still out skating today through the snow. He goes by my place every day on Winnemac. He didn't move out of the way of the car, so I just went around him, sticks in hand. At first, I didn't think anything of him. He's been skating daily for several months, and I see him every day with either a boombox or his hockey sticks. Just avoid him, pretty simple. If you don't feel safe, just walk away. And then the last comment on that one was, I saw him a few days ago near Damon and Leland in my car, but he was skating down the middle of the street towards traffic.
Whoa.
So this guy's crazy.
Chicago should dispatch some rollerblade cops.
Yeah, right? So...
Because if they're in their cars... Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so same day, different person posting, right? Be aware of guy on rollerblades chasing people.
What is this?
This happened to me in Winnemac Park just before the snowy weather. A dark-complexioned guy on rollerblades approached me asking if I saw gym shoes. I said no and kind of backed away as he made me nervous, and he said, "You gonna make me chase you now?"
Whoa, weird.
This is why it's so weird. This is why I don't condone what he did, but it's so weird.
So far, if it weren't for him following that family,
right,
and just saying the women that he was going to kill them and take the children, I would say this guy might be awesome.
He's very mentally unstable.
Yeah, he wrecked himself with that first part.
So she continues, and even though I ran across the entire park, he chased me until I caught up to a big guy walking a dog. I did report to 311. I bring this up now because my friend said her neighborhood off Damon reported a tall guy on rollerblades now chasing women and kids. And then they give a slight description. Hair, dark brown, 2 to 3 inches long, curls/dreads. Top, dark top with a backpack. Bottom, black pants. Shoes, rollerblades. Like, why put the shoes?
Why? I know. It just should have said, and that goes without saying, or something like that. What kind of shoes was he wearing? Rollerblades. All
right, so there's a lot more comments on this one. I cut some of them out, so I'll just kind of run through a bunch of it here. So somebody just says, sadly, due to COVID, a lot of people are off of their meds. Report to the police and aldermen. I'm sorry this happened to you. What a bully. Thanks for sharing. Sorry to hear that scary moment. We'll certainly be on the lookout. And then the next comment is, what a twisted tale.
Nice. That's awesome.
Sounds like you were in immediate danger. Please call 911. 911 always. And then somebody says, it's hard to call 911 when you're being chased. And then the original poster came back and said, yes. Didn't mention my phone flew out of my pocket, so I couldn't call if I wanted to. Had to go back later and walk through field with a flashlight. And then somebody said, yes, there was another post about this rollerblade man this morning. 2 moms with 3 kids. They were chased. He followed them out of the park a few blocks, and he threatened to kill them. And then threatened to kill the women and kidnap the children. He is very fast on blades.
If he's not fast on blades by this point,
right?
Like those should be like an extension of his own body by now.
Yeah, more people
what
saying
a harrowing.
More people saying that
tale.
he was talked to by the cops, but nothing happened. Yes, our neighbors were chased and threatened by him on Friday. Police were involved.
So how recent are these posts?
This is all from. So I told you about this a couple of weeks ago. So this was 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
when this was all getting posted up.
I was gonna say this guy. The cops have to have done something by now.
I'm assuming now with all this snow, he might not be out as much. So I haven't heard any new updates on this guy since. Somebody asked what park it was, and they said it's Winnemac Park. He's been frequently at the park since last spring or summer. He's always on rollerblades, and he's usually singing/yelling at the top of his lungs. I know because he blades past my house on the way to and from the park. He seems harmless except for not being able to read social cues about how long to interact with strangers who are in mid-conversations and not interested in talking. But recently he's gotten more threatening.
He's harmless except for threatening to kill people and kidnap children.
And in the past week, there have been multiple incidents. He is pretty clearly mentally altered and needs intervention. And then somebody says, this sounds like the birth of an urban legend. Rollerblade Sam. Kids will tell stories around campfires someday. And another person says, always carry extra pair of shoes for the man on the skates. Or for a man on skates might appear asking for them.
Here they are. Leave me alone. These aren't my size. I'll kill you.
And then we have one of the moms from the original. Says, I was one of the moms that was chased on Friday. I had my 6-year-old and 4-year-old and was with my friend who had her 3-year-old. He was on rollerblades and it was quite scary. I don't know if that's why it was scary. He was on rollerblades, and that freaked me out.
Oh, I hate wheeled men.
But he did not have a hockey stick. We did call 911, and we were able to get to a safe place. The police came and arrested him, but he actually threw up in front of the police, and that is a COVID symptom. So they said they could not take him into the station. We have a court date to talk about what happened Friday. I wish we had a better system in place for people. Blah blah blah.
Wow.
So people are just saying it's ridiculous that they let him go because he threw up. Then somebody says, just push him. Just push him.
Push him.
Not a bad idea if you want to amplify his rage.
I think he's also charging $60 an hour to hold your parking spot.
Right. Oh, God, it's the same guy.
And then I'll kill you and kidnap your kids.
And then one of the other moms from the previous assault also chimed in. This man is dangerous and should not have been allowed to leave on his own. The very next day, he was back in the same place, assaulting someone else. Who knows what he's capable of? If you see this individual, try to head the opposite direction. If you're at the park, stay where there are other people around. Does anybody know where he lives, or does he just blade into the area? He has been known to get into dogs' faces as well. Somebody said one day it'll be the wrong dog.
Have you seen my shoes?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Let me see. I saw and heard him through a window approach a woman with a dog and then using threatening language when she backed away and ran.
Is threatening language like not English? Like, is it a separate language from English or Spanish?
It could be.
He's spoken threatening.
It's German.
He's fluent in. Oh, come on.
What?
Now you're gonna anger.
Most villains in movies are Germans.
Now you're gonna. What about? No, there were plenty of Russian villains, but now you're gonna make our German listeners even angrier than they already are.
We currently don't have any German listeners. Well, nobody from Germany, or in Germany at least. Could be from Germany. Nobody in Germany. I'm also mostly German, so it's okay. I can say it.
I'm partially German also.
There you go. Big Daddy taught us rollerbladers and sticks are an effective combo. Throw that stick and run, y'all. And then the last comment was he followed and harassed me and my dog back in November near the Damon Brown line. Stop. I was friendly at first as I thought he just wanted to pet my dog. Then he wouldn't leave us alone and followed us and played his music and yelled. Luckily, there was a nice man who intervened and we were able to get away without anything happening. This guy's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it's just such a ridiculous story. So like, I'm not trying to make light of these women being terrorized by any means, but it's just even though something bad and terrible is happening like that, it's just the circumstance of it is so strange that it's hard not to just be like, that's so weird. And this place is literally like 3 or 4 blocks from my house. This park. Yeah.
It's hard not to laugh at it. I mean, from the sounds of it, it sounds like no one yet has been actually hurt by this guy.
Yeah.
So at least we can know that. Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I mean, if it was just a guy doing it, it's crazy. But the fact that he's on rollerblades and he's
regularly carrying sticks of
traffic,
some kind.
Yeah, like in the middle of the in traffic and stuff, and like, am I going to have to chase you now?
Wow.
Or are you going to make me chase you?
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Well, those are some. Yeah.
So this guy needs a proper name, though.
Well, it sounds like we've got Rollerblade Sam.
Rollerblade Sam is an option, but
or the
I wrote
crazy
down
rollerblade guy.
I wrote down some options, and maybe you can come up with a better one. And I know we're trying to probably wrap this episode up, but the inline instigator, the blading bandit,
cool,
skating stalker. I'm not sure about that one. The cruising criminal, the rollerblading rascal, or the rollerblading ruffian.
Okay.
And there's also inline intimidator.
I think what we could probably do is I could try to come up with some, and maybe we can figure out how to put up a poll, and maybe we can engage the listeners to vote on their favorite.
Or maybe the listeners can even come up with a better idea for what to call this guy as well. But those are some options that we have.
If you have suggestions, let us know on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram, all under HSFamous. And then you could email us directly at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. And this, this is going to be I think this is a good first current episode to throw up.
I hope so.
Based on the fact that this is going to go up next, we can just say, hey, Matt, congratulations on 10 episodes.
Yeah, 10 episodes.
Yay,
We've
this will be
done
our
it.
10th post?
This will be the 10th post.
So we made it this far.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping us now.
So please, comment on our stuff. Subscribe to our stuff. Be there. Because otherwise, you're going to make me chase you now?
Okay, bye.
Bye.
If you like us, we're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as HSFamousPod. Email us at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. If you really love us, consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/highschoolfamous. Remember, we love you and want to have your babies.